So admittedly, part of me is pretty surprised that they released an episode this week for Boruto, mainly because we're about like 5 days away from Christmas, and I just thought that would be something that they wouldn't really do yet. But they went ahead and decided to release an episode this week for Boruto. Yeah, from the previews, they pretty much kind of show off that members of Kara are going to be in there. We see, and some people even got name dropped, actually, now that I'm reflecting on some of the stuff that happened. Jigen showed up, Victor's there, and he's like trying to get the vessel, and the vessel being Kawaki. Another character named Delta is there, Amado is there, Code and Boro get like name dropped, and I guess they're really quick to say something about the members of Kara and like who they are and their personalities and the way that they're designed. Jigen looks like a fucking fuckboy, so I guess it makes sense that he ends up being essentially the precursor to the actual vessel of Ishiki, so I guess it fits, but I'm not really sure how he's supposed to be like the bad guy right now, considering that he looks like a fuckboy and I can't take him seriously. Maybe he ends up doing something way fucking cool later on, so I guess I'll just keep my eyes open for whenever that happens. Amado, I vibe with him so much, but he kind of gives off vibes of a different character. It's obviously not the same character, but he kind of looks like a certain other character that I've seen. And then Delta, I believe her name is Delta. They kept referring to her to that. I think it's cool that we get a female character who looks way different than anything that we've seen before, but she has a personality that we've seen before, so that's not really anything too interesting. But I'm kind of just am excited about the idea that we finally have a female character that isn't like Sarada or to an extent Sakura that can, put up an actual fight, because like, let's be honest, Sarada was like the only like cool female character in Boruto so far. And then whenever they wanted to bring in another cool female character, they had to bring in like Sakura, and they wouldn't have anyone else doing anything else. And I was like, why? And then you bring in Tsunade, who's really cool, but she's just there doing politics shit, which makes sense, but she doesn't do anything. She just talks. And I'm like, why? Do something cool. Fucking smash a crater into the ground. I don't know. Just do something. So I think her inclusion and her being, a woman is cool. To diversify the members of Kara and make someone stand out definitely way more. I'm not a huge fan of the color of her hair. I think it's a very odd choice, but they went with something different, which I can appreciate that at least. And yeah, we pretty much only get to see like a handful of members of Kara, but we finally get to see the main important one, Jigen, because right now he's currently the, like I said, the quote precursor vessel for the actual vessel of Ishiki Otsutsuki, which is a very important thing. And the whole point of the episode is actually to transport the vessel off somewhere else up into, I guess, the surface is what they were calling it. And in the episode, they use a airship that Victor created, which basically has a stealth system that can go through anything. And the way that they were also able to teleport the vessel was through the space-time gateways that Kaguya would use. And I thought that was really cool. I don't know how they got their hands on that, but I think it's cool that they kind of brought back an ability that Kaguya had that was really cool. We see a moment in the episode, it kind of breaks away a little bit to Boruto and the others, and basically they get accommodation from the Hokage himself. They're basically just kind of giving them commemoration for the stuff that they were doing in the Land of Valleys with the stuff with Victor and Deepa and all that stuff. And they have a little moment with Boruto and Naruto, father and son, that I thought was enjoyable. And I think the reason why I enjoyed it the most was because even after the whole stuff with Momoshiki and Boruto finally kind of grew a new respect and admiration for his father, he still was kind of passive-aggressive. Like, he didn't really like his dad all that much. It kind of just sort of came off as the vibe that Boruto was still really passive-aggressive and didn't really give a shit about his dad. But in this episode, you kind of see more of the admiration and respect that he's gained for him over, time seeing him as the Hokage and also his father. And he talks about wanting to do a spar with his dad, and I thought that was really cool. And I don't know if it's just going to be like the two of them and they're going to have a moment together. I think what's going to end up happening is as soon as Kawaki ends up showing up, that's when they're going to end up doing the sparring thing that they were talking about within the episode. So, and one other thing that kind of like brought an idea in my mind was the Delta girl. She ends up starting to talk about recalibrating her right leg because she said it was slower than everything else, and that started to make me wonder, are they using scientific ninja tools like cybernetic enhancements inside of their bodies, right? Kind of like a cyberpunk thing where they have enhancements into their bodies that make them be able to do extra shit, like run faster, increase strength, increase jump height, stuff like that. Are they doing something similar to that with the scientific ninja tools, and like they're kind of like cybernetic enhancements, and that's why they hide most of their body? Because that's the case, that seems really cool. And from what information that I've read little about, because I was really confused as to why Jigen exists and why they're ultimately having this vessel thing with Kawaki. And Kawaki is essentially, I think, enhanced by scientific ninja tools. I don't know how true this is. I don't know if I even read it correctly. I just saw this word and this word with this name, and I was like, oh, okay. So correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, ultimately, Jigen was chosen by Ishiki just to survive. That was the whole point of him. He was just there to live and survive so that he can eventually find a better vessel and completely take over. That was the whole point of it. And that's why they have Kawaki, because Kawaki is a much more suitable vessel for Ishiki to come back. So, yeah, that makes sense, for what it's worth. There's a couple other stuff they reveal about certain characters. Like, Victor's pretty much already on Hell's Gate, He apparently has a curse mark, too. I thought that was an interesting thing they just kind of squeaked by. He has a curse mark that elongated his life path. The regeneration stuff that he has is deteriorating, and he's, again, like I said, about to lose more body parts, and he's pretty much about to die. So it's kind of like, why didn't he just have him die anyway, if he was just going to go ahead and die anyway? I think the whole stuff that he did with Kara and the members of Kara was interesting. I'm glad that we got to see more of them and see how they act with one another. It kind of seems like that they all hate each other, and I kind of like that, because it's kind of like the Akatsuki. Admittedly, it's kind of like the Akatsuki. They all kind of hated each other. I thought that was funny. So, I don't know. I don't know what else they're going to do. I don't know what's really going on in the next episode. It kind of seems like they're not really doing anything. But I guess it's just kind of there to break out the monotony and kind of space things out a little bit before they get into some interesting shit. And I think the interesting shit's going to happen really soon. Because like Boruto was trending on Twitter for like a whole number of reasons. For one thing in the manga, and then one thing regarding the anime. I think it was like a trailer or something, which I didn't watch. I didn't see any of the information, just because I was like, I'll ignore it, because it probably has stuff to do with things that I don't really know about yet. So I'm just kind of forget about it, and then maybe come back to it later when I have some sort of if I have some sort of urge to get into and dwell within the information that's being released. It's about thing, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's just, I'm going to go ahead and just wrap up the video, because I don't really have anything else to talk about. I think it all kind of just sums up everything all on its own. And there's not really much else to say. I think the members of Kara are all very interesting in terms of their design, their character design, and the fact that they all have a motive for one thing over the other, and that's why they're working with this plan with Jigen and stuff. I think it's cool. But I want to see more of them, obviously. I want to see how they really interact with each other as a group, and what their real motive for everything is. Even with Victor, he has an idea of what he wants to do, but I'm really confused as to what the hell his plan actually is. It kind of just seems like he's just doing it because he says that he's invested a lot of money into it. I don't know what the hell that's about, but whatever. That's all I really have to say about the episode. I enjoyed for what it was doing and for what it did, but I feel like there's still more to the stuff that they want to do, and I want to see more of that. So yeah, it was a decent episode though, and I'm really interested to see what the hell else they're doing. So that's pretty much it. I'll go ahead and wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. If you aren't, subscribe for more videos just like this. See you guys next one. Have a fantastic day. I'm out. Peace.